explain the what is the advantages and disadvantages of air cooling systems, how it is cooled the engines, and what are the factors to be considered for design of the air cooling system of a IC engines. Okay, so here first this is the engine cylinder part. This is the cylinder. Inside the cylinder, that is a combustion of the fuel is takes place, and the piston is reciprocate. Then this upper part is known as the cylinder head. Then this is the various fin. These are the number of fins. That is the extended surface. This is known as the fin. And from this cylinder or from the fin, air is passed. That's why it is known as the air cooling system. Its name is air cooling means by using the air, we reduce the temperature of the cylinder wall. It is known as the air cooling system. If the cooling is done by the water, then it is known as the water cooling system. So this is the engine that is generally used in our motorcycles. Okay, so in a motorcycle, the cooling of the engine is takes place by the air. Okay, so generally engine is installed in a front part of the our vehicles. Okay, so when we drive the vehicles, the high velocity of the speed air is passed from this fins or from the cylinder surface. Okay, so this extended area means this speed is increase the area of the cylinder, so more amount of the heat is rejected to the air and air is reject the heat to the atmosphere. So this image I show you for seeing the fins. Okay, so here image it is look like as a single area, but it is a completely area. Okay, and there is a depending upon the cooling required, the spaces between the two fin is decided, thickness of the fin is decided. Now we understand the theory. In this method, heat is carried away by the air flowing over and around the engine cylinders. Means air is flowing from the cylinders and around the cylinders. So the air have a suppose atmospheric temperature that is depending on the location, that is 25, 35, 36. Okay, and this surface temperature is very high. Okay, so air is absorbed the heat from the cylinders and temperature of the cylinder is reduced. It is used in motorcycles and scooter that I already explained. In our motorcycle and scooters, the air cooling system is used. In order to have an efficient cooling by means of air, providing the fins around the cylinder and cylinder head that increase the contact area. So you already studied in a heat transfer. When we increase the area, at that time the amount of heat rejection is increased. So what is the equation of the Q? So according to the conduction theorem, or according to the Fourier's theorem, the Q is equal to minus Ka dt upon dx. So Q is directly proportional to the area. So if we increase the area, then the amount of the heat transfer is increased. That's why the fins are mounted on the cylinder. The fins are metallic ridge which are formed during the casting of the cylinder and cylinder head as shown in this figure. Means the fins are made from the ridge, means it is a solid metallic components and are formed during the casting. So cylinder is generally made by using the casting. Okay, and during the casting the cylinder fin is also constructed. In some engine the fin is another part of the cylinder, means it is a extended surface that are part with the cylinders or it is mounted externally to the cylinder. Heat generated due to combustion in the engine cylinder will conducted to the fins. Means how the heat is transferred. Here we know that combustion is takes place. Okay, so due to combustion, this inner layer of the cylinder, its temperature is increased by using the convections. After that, inner layer of this cylinder wall to the outer layer, that is transferred by using the conduction, and the heat transfer to fin is also by using the conductions. And outside the fin, air is flowing, so it is a convection is there. Okay, the fins, and when the air is flow over the fins, it will be dissipate the air. So by using the convection, heat is dissipate from the fins. Next we understand the another parameters. The fins are arranged in such a way that they are at right angles to the cylinder axis. Means this is the axis of the cylinders and it is right angle means 90 degrees. The fins are generally provided at the 90 degree to the cylinder axis. Before moving ahead, I request to like the video, and if you don't subscribe the channels, then subscribe by pressing the subscribe button, and also visit the playlist for watching the various video related to mechanical engineering. Now, the amount of heat carried off by the air cooling depends upon the following factors. Okay, so it is generally depend on the three factors. First is the velocity and amount of the cooling air. Means what is the velocity and the amount of cooling air? Means V is equal to velocity and amount of the cooling air, means it is the mass of the air. Second, the total area of the fin surface. Okay, means it is known as the area. If area is increased, then cooling is increased. If area is lower, then cooling is lower. The temperature of the fin and cooling air. So what is the temperatures of the fins and what is the temperatures of the cooling air? So these are the various factors that increase or decrease the amount of the cooling by the air cooling system. So next point is the advantages of the air cooling system. The design of the engine becomes simple as no water jackets are required. So in a water cooling system, water jackets are required. So it is make the construction difficult of the engine. But it is design is easy because no water jacket is required. Absence of cooling pipe, radiator, it's make the cooling system simple. Okay, in a water cooling, we require the radiators and the various cooling pipes. But in air cooling system, we have no require any cooling pipe and radiators. So design is simple. Even the cost is also reduced due to the carburetor is not radiator is not required. No danger of coolant leakage. Means in a water jacket, the water is leaked and it's create the problems. But in air cooling system, there is a no issue of the leakage. The engine is not subjected to freezing troubles. Usually encounter in a case of water cooled engines. Okay. Now what is the freezing? So in a air cooling system there is a no freezing chances. Okay. But in water cooling system what happened? So it is a problem created outside the India, or in India there is a very minor problem like in the Himachal Pradesh. Okay. So freezing problem is created only the area where the atmosphere temperature is too low. Okay. Suppose we thinking that in Himachal Pradesh during the winter season temperature is in -10 and -20, then what happened? The what amount of the cooling water available inside the water cooling system is freeze. Okay. So this create the problem that the proper cooling of the engine is not takes place. Okay, or it may be chance of the engine freezings because at a very low temperature engine oil is also freeze. So there is a no problem related to freezing of the air cooling substance. The weight per bhp means brake horsepower of the air cooled engine is less than of the water cooled engine. So in an air cooled engine, weight is lower for the same capacity compared to the water cooled engine, because in water cooled engine we need to provide radiators, cooling pipes and the waters. So weight of the system is increased, but in air cooling system weight of the system is lower. The case engine is rated a self-contained unit as it is required no external components. Okay, so it is a self-contained unit means there is a no any requirement of the any other components like the radiators, headers and tank. In water cooling systems we are required of various components, so it's increase the weight even at the cost of the system. Installations of the air cooled engine is easier because there is no any more components, so installation is easy. Next is the disadvantages of the air cooled system. So first disadvantage of the air cooled system is that the moment is noisy. Why the moment is noisy? Because when the air is passed from the fins, okay, at that time the noise is created because velocity of the air is higher. And if you want to watch the another video of the cooling system, then the link for the another video is provided in the description, as well as you visit the I symbol that is provided on the top right screen of your mobiles, or you also visit the playlist. Second disadvantage is the non-uniform cooling. What is the meaning of non-uniform cooling? Non-uniform means the cooling is not same at the every part of the cylinder. Okay, that may be chances is that on the left side of the cylinder the cooling is different. On a cylinder head cooling is different. On the right side of the cylinders cooling is different. That is known as the non-uniform cooling. But the cooling is also changed with the time. Okay, so some amount of the rate is suppose the right now the cooling heat remove by is the 5 kilowatt. But after some time it may be 4, it may be 6. That is known as the non-uniform cooling of the engine. It is less efficient compared to the water cooled engines. Why it is less efficient? We know that the specific heat of the air is lower compared to the water. So specific heat of the air is 1.005. The specific heat of the water is 4.187. So what is the amount of heat rejected? Q is equal to mCp delta T. Okay. So Cp is directly proportional to heat rejections. So Cp is higher, okay, than the more amount is heat is rejected. Suppose for a same mass of the air and water, okay, So water cooling system is able to remove 4 times more heat compared to the air cooled engine, because CP of the water is nearly 4 times to the CP of the air. Okay. CP of the air is 1.005 and CP of the water is 4.187. So amount of the heat rejected by the water cooling system is higher compared to the air cooling system. It is used in aeroplane, motorcycle engine, where the engines are exposed to the air directly. Okay. So where it is used when the engine is directly exposed to the air. Okay, at that time we are able to use the air cooling system. Suppose the engine is not directly exposed to the air, at that time we are not able to use the air cooling system.
Good morning, friends. So, whatever we have discussed yesterday's class, air cooling systems in IC engines. So, with the help of the air circulation, so the amount of heat will be rejected from the engine cylinder. So, centrally, on combustion of the fuel, the temperatures may be in the range of up to 2700 degrees centigrade also. So, this is what is central location of the cylinder. In this region, the temperatures may be of up to 2700 degrees centigrade also. So here, on reaching the heat over the cylindrical surfaces, the temperature may be of in the range of 1500 degrees centigrade also. So the cylindrical surface at 1500 degrees centigrade, if the temperature is not dropped, so below those of the melting point temperature of the material that is made up of, so continuous exposure of the high temperatures make this metal to get melted, and the engine parts gets seized, and the engine operation is going to be affected. So that is why somehow the heat has to be removed, so that has generated on the combustion of the fuel. So originally so much temperature is released. By the time it reaches to the cylindrical surface, it may be in the range of 1500 degrees centigrade, 1000 to 1500. Again, this also has to be dropped, so close to the top, below 100 degrees centigrade. How is it possible means? So by means of two methods. One is of air cooling. Air cooling method when do we use is when the engine cylinder is smaller in size, where the compression ratios are less than 8 otherwise. In such of the cases, fins, these are the extra attached metal surfaces. And these are not there, this is the original cylindrical surface. This is the original cylindrical surface. Only when actual cylindrical surface is exposed to surrounding atmospheric air, lesser heat only will be dissipated. So to dissipate more amount of heat from the engine cylinder means extra surfaces are attached. The extra attached surfaces we call them as fins. So the fins are also made up of by the material by which the cylinder is made up of. In this case, the cylinder is made up of by cast iron. Therefore, the fins are also made up of by cast iron. So having attached with these metal surfaces, so the contact area is going to be increased for outside air. More heat will be dissipated from the same cylindrical surface. If this fin is not there, 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 oddly, so from the bare surface, the heat has to be rejected. With the attachment, what is happened? So from this area, now this area is increased. Now from this area, the area is enhanced. Now from the smallest area, the area is increased. Now from the smallest area, the area is increased. So that is how with the increase of area, with more area by having contact, more heat will be dissipated from the cylindrical surface. These kind of air cooling systems we see in smaller size of the engines, especially in the case of scooters and motorcycles, we use this kind of systems. That is what. So the working of air cooling system also we have discussed, and you also have gone through the steps given here. And when it comes to the advantages and disadvantages of air cooling system, those also we have discussed about yesterday's class also. The design of engine is simpler. Why? Because there is no separate attachments like pump, radiator, or for connecting the engine cylinder with radiator. Separate pipes are required. All those are avoided. Since no cooling water is used, no chance of getting leaked of any coolant. All these are all. No freezing problems also will not be seen there. Only when you are using water like cooling medium only, So under cold environment conditions, there is a chance of water to get freezed. Otherwise, no need to worry about the freezing problems when we are going for air cooling systems. And the weight of the engine also for developing of 1 unit brake power is smaller when compared to air cooled, water cooled engines. That is what. Installation is also easy. All these are all the advantages. Disadvantages when comes. So here, depending upon the speed of the vehicle that is moving, so the noise is also will be heavier. The noise also will be heavier as the fins are exposed to high velocity air stream. Uh, High noise is created there, and non-uniform cooling. So as already told that differently on different sides of the cylinder is undergoing the cooling effects. Top side it will get one way of cooling, so left side of the cylinder will get one way of cooling effect. Right side of the cylinder will get different way of getting cooling effect. These are all so non-cooling, non-uniform cooling effects are seen in the case of this. So when compared to water cooled systems, air cooled systems are less efficient. Why? Because so the amount of heat dissipated is Q equal to mCp dt. For air, Cp value is 1.005. For water, Cp value is 4.187. So Cp represents that the amount of heat dissipated. As Cp is lesser for the case of air, less heat only is dissipated. In the case of water, more heat will be dissipated. That is why, so all commercial systems we go for circulating water cooling systems. So that is also we have discussed yesterday's class. We also go through what was that water cooling system we have gone through. Thermostatic water cooling systems. You just go through this video also, afterwards I will explain.
In this video, I discuss the pressurized water cooling system for a IC engines. So I discuss the construction, workings, and comparison. In this video, I explain you force circulation thermostat cooling system. So in this video, I explain the construction, working of thermostat cooling systems and comparisons with the thermosiphon cooling system by using this animation. So first we understand the construction of force circulation thermostat cooling system. So this is the cylinder. Okay, this is a four-cylinder engine, and outside of the engine cylinder there is a water jacket is provided. Okay. This is the outer part of the engine, and this is known as the water jacket is provided surrounding of the cylinders. And this water jacket is completely filled with the water. This water temperature is heated, then it is supplied to the radiator for the cooling purpose. This is known as upper hose connection, and this is the lower hose connections. This is the completely radiators. In a radiator, it is known as upper tank. This part is known as the lower tank. In the radiator, fan is provided, and it is also completely filled with the water. And in upper side, the water filling port is provided for filling the water. And here the fan is provided for air circulations from the radiator. Here one pump is provided. In a thermosiphon system, pump is not provided. It is a natural circulation. But here we studying the force circulation. Why it is force circulation? Because we use the pump. That's why it is known as the force circulation system. And here another name is the thermostat. Thermostat is a one type of the device, okay, which regulate the flow of water. Okay. Its name is a thermostat, means it start the flow of water according to condition of the thermal condition. Thermo means it is related with heat. Okay, so when this water temperature is reached up to certain conditions, Suppose we set the 85 degree, okay. So when water check temperature is reached 85 degree, at that time the thermostat is open and the water is supplied to the radiators. Otherwise, below 85 degree thermostat is closed. Okay, means water is only circulated in water jacket. Okay, not in this part of the radiators. So this is the function of thermostat, and this thermostat is also connected with this lower hose pipe. So it is known as the bypass lines. So this construction is over. Next we move towards the working. Before moving ahead, I request to like the video and subscribe the channel for watching the more video related to mechanical engineering, and also visit the playlist for the various video. Now, before moving ahead on the working, we compare the thermosiphon and the thermostat cooling systems. Okay. So as we know that natural circulation cooling means thermosiphon is the natural cool circulation, means in a thermosiphon system we not use the pump. In a thermostat the forced circulation is there, so we use the pump. Okay. So it's depend on the atmospheric temperature. In a thermosiphon it is naturally depend on the atmospheric temperatures, but the thermostat system is not depend on the atmospheric temperatures. The circulation of water is established only when the engine become hot. Okay, so it is about the thermosiphon system. In thermosiphon system, the water temperature is increased, means its density is increased, and this hot water is moving in this upper part of the water jacket in a thermosiphon system, and the cold water is coming in a lower direction because it have a higher density. So the when the engine is hot, at that time water circulation is start in a thermosiphon system. Okay, now in a winter, atmospheric temperature is low. Okay, so in a winter, atmosphere air temperature is low, and hence more heat transfer takes place. So there is a chances of overcooling. So here we are also talking about thermosiphon system. Okay, so atmosphere temperature is lower during winter, like it is a 15-20 degree. In summer seasons, the temperature is higher up to 35 and 40 degree. Okay, so at that time during winter, what happens? That is overcooling is done. And when the overcooling is done in a thermosiphon system, that means our thermal efficiency is reduced. Okay, so our efficiency is reduced. While during summer, what happens? There is a chances of overheating because in a summer seasons the 40-degree temperatures, so atmosphere air are not able to completely remove the heat from the radiators. Okay, so that is the overheating of the engine is there. So due to less temperature, difference of cooling waters and atmospheric air temperatures. Okay, so it's the overheating. So that is the vice versa conditions in a thermosiphon system during the different atmosphere conditions. Okay. So avoid this type of the disadvantages of the thermosiphon systems, that is the overheatings and the overcooling during the different seasons, so that forced circulation thermostat cooling system is invented. So even in simple forced circulation cooling system. Okay, now here the comparison is over of the thermosiphons, and we are talking about the forced circulation thermostat cooling system. Okay. Now even in a simple forced circulation cooling system, as the pump is start, okay, when we start this pump, then what happen? It will start the circulating the cold water to the cylinders, and it absorb the heat at a faster rate from the cylinder walls, and due to the larger temperature difference is created. As the result, the engine take more time to warm up to desired levels of the temperature, particularly in a cold weather. Means during winter seasons, already atmosphere temperature is lower, and this force pump is start, the force circulation is start. So engines are not warm up quickly. Okay.
Friends, so yesterday we have seen one case of water cooling system. As we have already seen that water has more specific heat, 4.187 when compared to air of specific heat 1.005 kilojoules per kg Kelvin. Compared to air, water has more specific heat. Therefore, the heat extraction capacity for water is 4 times or 4.18 times higher than that of air. Air when we have viewed as a cooling medium. So that is why we have shifted to use water cooling systems. And yesterday also we have discussed about one type of water cooling systems, that is of thermosiphon system. Thermosiphon system means, so slowly when water is without the inclusion of this pump, water is applied to the sub the engine water jackets. Slowly water movement takes place, so the rise in temperature takes place for this. So water circulated on becoming the hot water, the density will become lesser. The density at this level is lower compared to the density at this level. The difference of density will cause the net circulation of the momentum through this of the radiator. So that is why without the inclusion of the pump, naturally the circulation of water momentum is taken place, but the water momentum is very slow. The dissipation of heat also very slow. So generally we don't adapt. Only principle based only we have discussed about. So what is the thermosiphon system? So thermosiphon system is, that is the momentum of the water circulation created due to change in density created at the bottom of the engine jacket and the uh, what is that upper level of the upper level of the engine jacket. So where hot water is available, cold water is available, between them there is the density difference. This density difference will create or establish the buoyancy forces. Those buoyancy forces are responsible for getting the water momentum through this radiator also. But there is a very slowly happening phenomena. In a slow manner, either the heat will be absorbed, also the heat will be rejected. But practical systems, so that the thermosiphon system won't be adapted. Then they have moved on to other kind of system called as forced circulation system. In addition to that, a thermostat is also fitted. So first let us know, so what is this forced circulation? So for the same thermosiphon system what we have discussed, a separate pump is also included here. The function of the pump is to circulate the water at high velocity, to circulate the water through cylinder jackets at a high velocity. So that is the purpose of the keeping a pump here at high velocity. The water is circulated around these of the engine jackets, so the heat dissipation also faster and also will be circulated at a faster rate. So this is what is forced circulation. The water is circulated under some velocity. That is what is forced circulation. Yesterday's case, that velocity was not there. Naturally, the momentum was created due to density difference. The momentum is very slow in thermosiphon system, whereas in the case of forced circulation system is water flow is at a faster movement. So that is what is. What is the meaning of keeping the thermostat here? So thermostat. So here, so when we have initially started the engine, so upon supplying of the water, upon supplying of water to the engine jackets, the heat added will be lesser. The rise in temperature for this of the jacket water also will be lesser. So let us suppose if the temperature of water raised in the first phase of starting the engine is, let us suppose 45, and the surrounding air temperature that is blown over the radiator is at let us suppose 30. The water that is raised its temperature to 45 degrees centigrade, and the available air temperature is at 30 degrees centigrade. What is the temperature gap from here to here? That is 40. Here is 30. 40 minus 30 with 10 degrees centigrade only. Q equal to mcp delta T. So if temperature difference is smaller, the amount of heat dissipated from hot water to cold air is also very lesser. Therefore, our objective is to maintain high temperature difference. That means the water jacket temperature must be raised to some specific temperature for removal of maximum heat. So that is what is for all practical cases. The water temperature that is expected to be raised is of in the order 85 degrees centigrade. Unless otherwise, unless otherwise, so the water jacket temperature is raised more than 84 degrees centigrade. The hot water will not be allowed to enter into the radiator. That means that will not be sent for cooling effect. So if the water temperature is more than, if the water temperature is not more than, if the water that is circulated through the jackets is not more than 84 degrees centigrade, that will not be permitted to enter into the radiator. Instead, again it will be flown back. So into this of the bottom of the radiator. From the bottom of the radiator, with the help of the pump, again will be pushed. So let us suppose, so in the beginning of the engine starting, so suddenly the temperature won't go up, so more than 85 degrees centigrade. That may rise gradually after continuous circulation of water through the jackets. So unless otherwise the temperature is reached by 85 degrees centigrade, so the hot water will not be allowed to enter into this of the radiator. That function will be so performed by this of the thermostat. Thermostat, it will be continuously reading the temperature of hot water entering into the top of the radiator. So once it senses the temperature, if it found to be of less than 84 degrees centigrade, means it will not allow to enter into the radiator from the top. Instead, it will send back to the bottom of the radiator. As pump is connected to the bottom of the radiator, again water at 60 degrees centigrade is supplied back to this of the water jackets. In the next cycle, the temperature will rise. So once the temperature is raised beyond the 85 degrees centigrade only, again the temperature will be sensed by this of the thermostat. When it finds that the water temperature is above 85 degrees centigrade, then it will open the passage, allowing the hot water to enter through the top side of the radiator. This is upper tank, we call it as for the radiator. Here the water is permitted due to gravity, it flows down. While it is flowing down across these of the tubes, air is also blown with the help of this fan. Therefore, so having more temperature for hot water and air is at low temperature, with maximum temperature difference, more heat will be rejected. So if the temperature difference is smaller, lesser heat only will be rejected. So with that view only, a thermostat is introduced in the outlet of the hot water. In the outlet of the hot water, a thermostat is fitted. In the passage of the outlet of hot water, a thermostat is fitted where this is set at a temperature of 85 degrees centigrade. It keeps on monitoring the temperature of hot water entering to this of the radiator. Once the temperature is found to be lesser than 85 degrees centigrade, instead of sending it into the radiator, it will reverse the flow to take place into the bottom of the radiator, as pump is connected to the bottom of the radiator. So the pump uh, pumps the water so into this of the water jackets again. So the temperature will be raised to 85 degrees centigrade and above. Once the temperature is sensed as above 85 degrees centigrade, then the radiator will allow the water to enter from the top of the radiator. While it is flowing down, air is blown across this of the radiator, and sufficiently the heat will be rejected from the hot water. So here, this is the function of the thermostat. So here the thermostat also, it will be working as, the thermostat is also working. Let us see how the thermostat will work here. You see here, this is the thermostat. So where the thermostat is provided with n numbers of billows. These are all elastic materials. Otherwise, thin these billows are prepared of smaller thickness of copper sheets. Copper sheets. These billows are filled with a kind of volatile fluid. Volatile fluid means upon exposure to this of hot water, so then the volatile fluid that is filled in, so that gets vaporized. Once it gets vaporized means the pressure here will be increased. The pressure will be increased means pushing these billows to move upward, giving the opening. This is how the water will be entered into the radiator. The hot water will enter from the inlet of the thermostat. Here, this is the picture of the thermostat. So what is the function of this thermostat we are discussing about? Hot water is allowed. Hot water is allowed from this bottom of the thermostat when the temperature is found to be less than 85 degrees centigrade. So then the whatever this volatile liquid filled here won't get vaporized. Only when the temperature is more than 85 degrees centigrade only. So the volatile liquid practically that is used is methyl alcohol or ether. So that is filled in upon exposing to this of the hot water. So when the hot water is found to be of above 85 degrees centigrade, so the ether or methyl alcohol that is filled here gets vaporized. When it converts to liquid to vapor means the pressure inside of this will increase. The pressure will make this of the seating. This is what is the main wall will be pushed upward, giving the opening for hot water to leave through this of the thermostat. So this is what, when the temperature is below 85 degrees centigrade, it will not push upward. No free space will be given for flowing of hot water through this of the thermostat. Instead, what will be done? A separate bypass valve is provided. When the temperature is below 85 degrees centigrade. That is what we have seen here. So this is what is bypass is provided. When the temperature for the thermostat is less than 85 degrees centigrade, water will flows back, again is circulated into the water jackets only on raising the temperature above 85 degrees centigrade only. So it will give the opening to continuously flow into this of the radiator. Otherwise, it will send the water to flow back, and in the next cycle also it will be made to circulate through the jackets. On reaching the 85 degrees centigrade, it will give the opening, allowing the water to enter through the radiator. Across the radiator, the air is blown. The temperature will be dropped at the bottom of water. Again, with the help of the pump, the water will be circulated. This is how, so the principle is operated. Continuous,
and the
you
engine is
can see
not
that.
warm up quickly, then we lost the thermal efficiency. Okay. So to avoid this type of the losses, or a losses like means the more time to warm up. Okay. So we need to quick warm up. That's why here the thermostat is put it. In a thermostat cooling system, thermostat is used to maintain the predefined minimum water temperature around the engine cylinder. Therefore, no cold starting problem during the cold weathers. Okay. So during the cold weather, no starting problems. Means here we putting the thermostat in a upper hose pipe connections. What is it functions? It is used to maintain predefined minimum water temperature around the engine. Means this water temperature is achieved up to certain degree. Means generally it is 18 to 85 degrees centigrade. At that time this valve is open and this thermostat is open. Then after the water is start to circulate from the water jacket to the radiator. Otherwise, the water is only circulating this part. So it is up to the pump, cylinders, and water jacket. It is not going to the radiators. Okay. So when the 85-degree temperature of this water jacket is achieved, at that time the thermostat is open and it start to supply the water to the radiators. Okay. So we avoid the cold starting problems during the cold weathers. Now, how the thermostat is open and closed depending upon this temperature of this water jacket, that is 85 degree. Okay, so that we understand in this video. The thermostat cooling system is consist of the pump. So here it is the pump. This is the radiators. This is the thermostat, and the fan as shown in this figure. The function of pump is to circulate the water through the water jacket to remove the heat from the engine through the radiators where it is cooled by the flow of air over the radiators. Its function of the pump is to supply the water from this radiator to the cylinders, and this water is absorb the heat from the cylinders and supply this heat to the radiators, and in these radiators the water heat is supplied to the air. The thermostat is a temperature operated valve. Okay. So as I earlier discussed, it is the temperature operated valve. When the certain temperature is achieved, then its valve is open and it is fitted in upper hose connection. It prevents the circulation of water below certain temperatures, usually up to 85 degrees centigrade, through the radiator, so that water in the jacket get heated up quickly. Means this valve is open. At that time, the water jacket temperature is achieved at the 85 degree centigrade. So now, how this thermostat valve is open and closed? Okay. So thermostat valve consists of a thin copper tube, bellows particularly fitted with a volatile liquid, and volatile liquid is ether and methyl alcohol as shown in this figure. So this is the figures of the thermostat. Okay. So from this side, water is enter from the jacket. Means 85 degrees centigrade water is come here. Okay. And this is the bellow filled with volatile liquid. Means in this bellow the volatile liquid is filled. Which is the volatile liquid? It is ether or methyl alcohols. And this another end of the bellow is connected with the valve. Okay. And this is the outer body. On this outer body, here the valve seat is provided. Valve seat means the valve is seat on the this place, it is known as the valve seat. Then after this valve is open, at that time the water from thermostat is supplied to the radiators. And here the relief valve is provided, or it is also known as a bypass. Okay, so this volatile liquid is evaporated at certain temperatures. Means the liquid is inside these bellows, it is evaporated at certain temperatures. During warm-up periods, means during starting of the engine from the cold, thermostat valve is remains closed and engine is running. The water being pump rise and the pressure causes the pressure relief valve to open. Means we are continuously pump is continuously work. Okay, and this thermostat valve is closed. Here you see this. This is the valve is closed because these water
अरे
temperatures of the water jacket is not reached to 85. That's why this valve is closed, and the pump is continuously supplying the water to the cylinder jacket, water jackets. Okay, then what happens? The pressure inside the water jacket is increased. That's why we put the one relief valve or a bypass valve. Okay, so when the pressure is increased, the relief valve is opens and water is supplied to the bypass valve. Okay, bypass valve to the lower hose connection system. So pump is circulate water through the water jacket only. The water does not pass through the radiators, hence the engine cooling does not take place. Means when the water temperature is below 85 degrees centigrade, this valve is closed. and the water is not supplied to the radiators. So where the water circulate, water does not pass the radiator, hence the engine cooling does not take place. So it is only in the water jacket and a pump system. Now, when the water temperature is reaches 85 degrees centigrade, then what happens? We need to open this valve. So how it is to open? So when the engine is reached at a normal operating temperature, and operating temperature is 85 degrees centigrade, the volatile liquid in the thermostat valve is vaporized. Means in this bellow, volatile liquid is there, it start to vaporize and thus creating enough pressure inside the bellow to expand and lift the valve as shown in this figure. Okay. So when this liquid inside this bellows is vaporized, at that time what happens? It expands and apply some pressures. So this valve is moving in upper directions. Okay. So here you see this is a valve seat and the valve there is a certain space. So water is start to transfer from the water jacket to this radiator. Hence the thermostat valve is open and the water pressure falls. Relief valve is closed. Okay, means when this valve is open, the pressure is start to reduce inside the water jacket. So water pressure is falls, relief valve is closed, hence the water circulated through radiators and engine cooling comes in action. This type of the cooling system is used for automobiles as well as the standby diesel power plants up to 200 kilowatt. In a case of large diesel power plant, this system is used with a cooling tower instance of the radiators. So in a large plant instance of the radiators, the cooling tower is provided. Thank you for watching this video. If you learned and like the video, subscribe the channels, comment on the video and share with your friends. 85 degrees centigrade. And
Friends,
then
we have understood.
This thermostat is open. Then after the
So separately we have seen the working of the thermostat also. We have seen the working of the thermostat. Unless this hot water temperature is not crossing 85 degrees centigrade, it will not allow the hot water to enter into the radiator. Instead, so that will send back to this of the lower side of the radiator. The lower side is connected to the pump. Again, the pump will circulate the water. Second time, around these are the water jackets. Once the temperature is raised above 85 degrees centigrade only, it will give the opening. The working of thermostat also we have seen. So where the billows inside of the thermostat is filled with some kind of volatile liquid, that is upon exposure to hot conditions or hot water conditions. So the available volatile liquid, that is ether or methyl alcohol, will get vaporized. On getting sufficient pressure, it gives the opening. From its seating position, a opening is provided for the hot water to enter into this of the radiator. So that is how continuously it will sense the temperature of hot water. So once the temperature is above 85 degrees centigrade, by coming into action, it will give the passage for hot water to enter into the radiator. Then, so as radiator is made to come in contact radially, so by this of the cold air, this cold air will take away the heat and cold water is collected at the bottom of the radiator in the next cycle with the help of a pump. Therefore it is called as forced circulation. So when pump is not there, that is called as natural circulation or simply thermosiphon system we call it as. The major difference between the earlier water cooling system and the present water cooling system is a separate pump is introduced. Therefore, with some velocity, the water is pushed into this of the water jackets. The temperature rises. So when get the sufficient temperature, that is more than 85 degrees centigrade, this will give the opening by coming to action. Then that will allow to flow downward along the radiator. So due to gravity, so it will come down from top to bottom. While it is flowing down, the air will come in contact. So with these of the tubes, taking away the heat. The help of the fan is to suck the air from one side and to dissipate from the other side. So this is how the, so from this side cold air enters, from this side the hot air will leave. So bottom the cold water is collected. So this is how the forced circulation thermostat cooling system is working. Hope you have understood. Tomorrow's class we will discuss about so two more cooling systems, that is of evaporative cooling system and pressure cooling systems. Pressure cooling systems we are going to talk about. So without the cooling systems will be completed. Hope you have understood. So don't leave. Let me take the photograph of this. Let me take the photograph of this. Don't leave. I will circulate the material to you for your reference. You can go through. You can I will circulate the material for your reference. You can go through if required. Very clearly all things are explained there. So both theory as well as animation diagrams also will be circulating to Suresh mail again. So from him again, uh, others can also be circulated. That is how. Thank you.